What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shuggalicious from Shook Earth Media, and today we are talking about the Walking Dead VR game Saints and Sinners. This is one of my favorite VR games. I'm a big fan of VR. I bought it specifically to play Half-Life Alyx, which has since become one of the best video games I've ever played in my life. It might be my number one. We'll have to talk about that in a different video, though, because this video I want to talk about the Walking Dead VR Saints and Sinners. I played it live on the channel. If you want to check it out, we got some cool new free content, which is a great thing. They've been releasing free content packs that really give the gameplay a chance to breathe and give you the chance to try something new. So that's very cool, and I really appreciate that. But today I wanted to talk about the story and why I found it a little lacking, to be honest. So it takes place in New Orleans, which is an excellent setting for the game. It's a place that has a lot of unique character, and it's a great idea to set something there. It's new for The Walking Dead, and I really appreciate that. And even the opening cutscene of the game is very immersive. It has you driving a boat through the world, and you see everything introduced to you. Now, there are two factions. You have the Tower, and you have the Reclaimed. And the Tower is apparently a group that has an oppressive structure. Now, we'll get into the issues with it, but the Reclaimed are these lunatics that wear, like, animal masks, and they hang dead bodies by their feet, and they have bags on their heads, and they're, like, zombies that are, like, rah, while they're hanging upside down, and it's supposed to be very intimidating. So, yeah, they're kind of interesting groups. There's a lot of potential there, and the story in general is derived around this reserve, which was a military facility, a government facility with lots of food and supplies that everybody's trying to find. And you play as a guy called the Tourist, or a lady called the Tourist, who has a reputation already for reasons we never find out and don't know anything about the character in general. But you show up looking for the reserve, and you show up and you find this guy that is like, you're acting as kind of like a mentor figure at this point, and right away he's killed off in an unceremonious manner, and he tells you don't take sides, and like both sides are evil and they both were involved in killing him somehow. And yeah, honestly, that first part, it had no real emotional impact because we don't care about this character, we don't know anything about it, we don't know anything about the situation. His whole thing is like he's trying to help this mom and daughter, and he asks you to do the same, and he gives you his hideout, which is weird because the guys who took him out never found his bus and all the supplies he had and his like investigation of the reserve. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But the real issue with this game is that everything story-wise is happening not in your vicinity. It's happening in the distance. We hear about the Tower being this oppressive place that people are trying to escape from, but we never go to the Tower. We never even really see evidence of the Tower being evil other than what people tell us. And, you know, unreliable narrators and all that, we don't know who to trust, right? So, is the group really that bad? I don't know. I'd like to think that they're not as bad as they make them out to be. I mean, if they're just like generically evil, it's not really that interesting, is it? And the Reclaimed, I don't really care about that. We don't have evidence of the oppression of the Tower other than they ring these bells. It's kind of like a timer. It's more of a gameplay mechanic than anything. But they have these bells that they ring that make the hordes come out, and they do that to keep the hordes moving. I'm assuming they do that so they don't coalesce too much and to control the vicinity. So maybe that's reason enough why they're evil. But I think I could think of a few reasonable explanations why it might be actually a good idea. So I'm not so sure about any of that. So yeah, that's the problem, is we don't really see anything ourselves. We are only told information secondhand. Now, there's radio shows of the Reclaimed guy, of the Tower's crews and information and stuff, we get information through the radio, and that's an okay storytelling technique. We spend a lot of time just standing around in the bus. It's so, for an immersive VR-based game, I don't know that necessarily talking to people on the radio is the most immersive way of getting that information to the player. I would rather see it personally. Now, the gameplay mechanics that they have, which are why the game is designed the way that it is, they don't necessarily behoove having these linear sections and having you experience things firsthand. So I can understand why it's done that way, but it ends up being a detriment to the game, because I love the gameplay the way that it is, but I would have rather... I feel like they could have done a different story with the gameplay mechanics, and it would have been better. Because most of the major events, like I said, happen off screen. We're supposed to be helping this mother and daughter, but we don't get to meet them until like halfway through the game. We don't ever get to meet the daughter, actually. We only get to see her dead body. The mother, we think of her, she's like this righteous, I'm trying to help people in the tower, I'm trying to help them escape, and you should come with us, the tourists should come with us, you need to help us, blah, 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 and all that, and that all sounds good. But then her daughter dies off screen again. You come across her dead body, and spoiler alert, I guess. And then she's like, after her daughter dies, she just freaks out, and complete 180, and we don't get to see any of her transformation. We only get to see her after the fact, and she's gone so crazy that she wants to pull this bell tower in this church to draw a horde and kill everybody. So she goes from, I want to save everybody, I want to help people, and I don't want to, I don't, it's not like she wants to start a revolution, she wants to escape. So she's not trying to kill anybody, she's trying to help people. Her daughter dies, now she's all of a sudden wants to kill everybody, and all of that transformation happens off screen. We only see the after effects of it, so there's no emotional impact there, and because it all happens off screen, it just feels like we're coming to the story late. And there's so much like build up to, we're trying to save people and help people, and then it just turns out like to be the exact opposite. And that didn't really work for me. I mean, also we spend a lot of the game trying to get to the reserve, right, which ends up being not very consequential to anything. There's like supposedly, good and bad choices that you get to make, but they don't really have any effect on the story other than, one scene. Like, you're trying to help this guy in the reserve the whole time, and then at the end it's like, do you want the stash of resources in the reserve, or do you want to flood the reserve and kill him? And it doesn't really make sense why you'd want to kill him. I did it on the second playthrough just to get the resources, because like second playthrough I was just doing it for fun. I don't care about the story at that point. So yeah, that's the weakness of the story, is that everything's happening off screen. The good and evil aspect doesn't really have a lot of bearing on the story overall. So yeah, the storytelling had a lot of potential, but didn't really capitalize on it. There are some cool moments, like when you come across the dead body and stuff, that the stuff that actually happens in front of you is great. But the fact that the most of the story is told over the radio, and you don't really get to see many of the events happening for yourself, it feels very distant. And it doesn't feel as engaging as a VR story should be. That being said, I fully recommend this game. It's one of my favorite VR games, gameplay-wise. It's survival crafty stuff, and it's a lot of fun. You collect all these recipes, and you explore environments, and it has like a system where you can climb onto things and grab things, and it's extremely immersive. There's a lot of great gameplay mechanics. There's a lot of mechanics in this game, and they all work very well. And the free content that they keep adding is great. They have this wave survival thing that's awesome. It's really difficult, and it's a lot of fun. So, and the Aftershock DLC is post-game content that is more difficult than the game content, which the game, once you know how to play it, it's a little easy. So that totally makes sense to add that content, and it's all free, and apparently they're going to add more content to the game. So I'm actually excited about the future of this game, and I couldn't recommend it enough. But I just wanted to talk today about some of my disappointments with the story. I still give the game very high rating. Fully recommend it. Maybe we'll do another video talking about the gameplay, but I really enjoyed it. I do recommend it, and yeah, I just want to let you know, guys, know my thoughts on it. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you agree or disagree, would love to hear from you. And yeah, that's about it. You can check out my live stream if you want to see some footage from the game and see why I like it so much. I might do another live stream with that. Let me know what you guys think if you want to see that. But yeah, guys, please smash a like if you like this video. Subscribe for more videos, Walking Dead related content, video game content, comic books, TV shows. We talk about everything here. That's what we do. We have a good time. And I hope you guys will join me for the next one. All right, peace out, everybody. Have a good one.